Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life of the crazy life that is cryptocurrency. What is going on, guys? Good afternoon. Second video for the day. Wanted to hop on here because I'm kind of feeling, kind of sensing that some people in the community, in the XRP community especially, feeling a little down, feeling a little bummed out, right? That big announcement thing was just, like I said the other day, that was just like, this dude is like, it's almost clickbait. So that whole President Trump 4th of July thing, nothing, right? No mention of the digital asset space, digital economy, anything like that. And so they're looking at the price, and I'm seeing people's comments and live streams and other people uploading their videos, and I'm seeing these comments, people just frustrated. One dude was certain that the fix was on. He was certain that the powers that be had the fix was on for us retail investors, and that there was no chance in heck that we were going to make it with XRP. Interesting, the frustrations. That was very, very interesting. And it always I don't want to say that it's mind-boggling, but it's very interesting to see people in the community, people who are holders of the greatest digital asset ever created. It's always interesting for me to see that level of frustration. It's even more interesting for me to see how quickly they forget about the fundamentals of this asset. Like, they totally forget about the 200 plus banks partnerships. Like MoneyGram, like MoneyGram just happened, and people have already forgotten about that partnership. Like, it just happened. They totally forgot about Mr. Cattell and the genius and the business phenom that he is. And that he probably is the biggest fan of XRP. Totally forgot about Mr. Cattell, what SBI is doing. Like, are you guys not watching SPQR Media videos? I mean, if you haven't, you need to go check them dudes out. Are you guys not watching Love for Crypto videos? Are you not watching Scott every day? I mean, whether you're tuning in from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, IGTV, right? Are you guys not watching those videos? Like, how can you possibly forget about what you hold? Here's what I recommend. Go check out Love for Crypto. Go watch some videos. Get your faith back up. Understand what you hold. Go watch some SPQR media videos. They just did a video the other day on SBI Digital. I think it was SBI Digital Company or something. Great deep dive about all things SBI. I'm telling you, it is impressive. And to think that dude is probably the biggest fan of XRP than anyone out there in the community, and he puts his money where his mouth is, just like we do. Yeah, I don't see that dude losing faith. Like, holy cow. I mean, again, MoneyGram just happened. 38 cents is awesome. 35 cents is awesome. You got to get the game. I was just thinking about this earlier today. There's a reason. I don't remember the name of this chart, but it is the chart. It has to do with the market, whether it be the stock market or whatever, any kind of market. And it has the depression phase and the anger stage and the happy phase and the, disappointment, all of those, the depression, the anger, the happy, all of that. That chart? I forget what they call it. High Altitude Investing. If you haven't checked out his channel, go check out his channel. Get yourself educated. Get more educated about the market. There's a reason why they have that chart. right? Because if we didn't behave that way, there would be no reason for the chart, right? And right, the professional traders, the disciplined investors in this space, they are all too familiar with that chart. The depression phase and the anger phase and the whatever other kind of phase there is. They're all too familiar with that. I'm wondering, how are you? How comfortable are you with that chart? Do you really know what it is that you hold? That's my question. That's what I really want to get across to you guys. Do you really understand what it is that you hold? Because if you're price driven, you're in trouble. Like, if you're focused on that price, you're in trouble. Because you don't understand what you hold. Here's the thing. Here's one great way to get it. You hold something that the powers that be wish they had, or wish they had more of. And you hold it. And I'm talking old money. Old money. When's the last time you had a chance to take advantage of an asset class before 99.9999999 even know about? When's the last time? You're in a blessed spot. Don't let them win. Don't let old money win. They know this game. I get it that they're better at playing it than you, but you can get better at playing this game. And one way to do that is to get more familiar with the digital asset that you hold. You got to up your IQ. That's the key. You got to get to a point that you know what you hold. You have to get to that point. You know, as I like to tell, when I'm doing some presentations or training some people, I always tell them this: we are in a heads up, chest out, and shoulders back moment. That's how we must walk around when we're out amongst the masses. That's how we must behave, right? My mentor used to say to me, walk away from the 97%. Don't walk like they walk. Don't talk like they talk. Don't act like they act. Never forget, the vast majority of people are not wealthy. You got to get that. The vast majority, the masses, are in the 95% asset class. You're about to step out of that class and get into a new class, if you know what I'm saying. So walk away from that price-focused mentality and focus on the fundamentals. Focus on Ripple, the company. Focus on Xspring. Focus on Kava Labs. Focus on the partnerships. Totally 100%. Like, how many videos have you watched of Alex Holmes talking about the partnership Ripple? Or did you just hear it and like, cool? Right? How many videos have you watched? How many times have you gone to the Kava Labs site? How many times have you checked out Dharma? What do you know about collateralized debt positions? Right? You got to up your IQ about this asset that you hold. You can't just hold it and look at the price. That's what they, quote unquote, are betting on. They're betting on you just holding it and checking out the price. And that'll just eat you up alive. Here's an interesting thing to think about. My mentor taught me this years and years ago. No good thing is great until 10 years. You got to get to 10 years. And here's what I would say. How long has Ripple been around? How long have they been around? 5-7 years maybe? Let's see how XRP is doing after Ripple, the company, because XRP is their greatest asset. Okay, it's not the company. It's the XRP that they hold. How long have they been around? You should check your price of your XRP holdings when that company's been around for 10 years. All good thing comes in 10 years. when I used to train back in my day, back when I had a job, I was an air traffic controller. I used to train air traffic controllers, and we always had this thing. I always taught this thing. You don't know that you know that you can separate airplanes for 10 years. You may be done training in 3 years if you're at the high-level air facilities like I was, that's where I started and ended my career. You might be done training in 3 years, but you won't know that you know for 10 years. Period. It's very, very similar to that 10,000 hours that I think it's Malcolm Gladwell talks about in his book, in his different books, whether it be The Tipping Point or I forget the other, Blink. So 10,000 hours. It's very, very similar to that. Very similar. 10 years. 5 years, you'll get a good idea of what you hold. 5 years, you get a good idea. Okay, this is where I am. I'm good. I'm average. I'm better than average. But to know that you know, that's 10 years. So I would humbly say to you, check out Ripple the company. Check out your XRP holdings when Ripple the company is 10 years old. Check out your investment when you've had it for 10 years and see how you're doing. And I get it. You got to have some cash out points. I get that. But we're talking about wealth. We're talking about in the top 1% of the 1%. That's the shot that we all have. And surely you can't measure it by a year or two. Most people that own this greatest digital asset have owned it for less than 2 years. That's a fact. Most people have owned it less than 2 years. The vast, vast, vast majority have owned it for 2 years or less of XRP holders. 2 years or less. What you got to gauge of how well you're doing? 2 years? 1 year? No, my friends. Look at it, again, I'm not saying don't have some cash out points. You're going to have those. But when we're talking about getting in the top 1% of 1%, that's a 10-year deal. In my humble opinion, that's a 10-year deal. But guys, never ever forget what it is that you hold. You got to do your homework. You got to do the deep dives. You got to get more educated on what you hold so that you can increase your intestinal fortitude. You got to raise your IQ. You got to raise your financial IQ, number one. And number two, you got to raise the XRP IQ. What is it that you know about the greatest digital asset that you hold? And that's a for real statement, like for real. How much do you know? Not how much you heard. Not how much do you know? How much deep diving did you know? Now I'm not saying not to listen to some dude on YouTube. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is after you do listen to that dude, did you go check it out for yourself? Did you go check it out for yourself? Did you go do some more learning? Oh, really? Some dude like Mickey B. Fresh, for example, he turns you on to some stuff, right? You put some PDF here, you put some this, that, there. Do you go check it out? I do. I go check that out on my own so that I can form my own opinion. Right? My mentor used to say to me, don't be swayed. Don't let some other dude, some other cat determine your philosophy. You got to come up with your own philosophy. Right? You got to do your own thinking. So you got to gather some information, apply that principle of discernment and come up with your own philosophy. What is your philosophy about the digital asset that you hold? Right? My mentor used to say your philosophy is everything you know, how you hold it, and how you let it affect what you do. That's your philosophy right there. And here's the thing that I know. XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created. And if I had Christine Lagarde sitting next to me, she would tell me the same thing, but she wouldn't say it on camera. That's what I know. And there ain't a person around that can convince me otherwise. You have to know that. You can't don't get sucked into this whole price thing. I get that just frustrated. I get from right. So that's the thing for most XRP holders. Holding something for a year or 2 years is forever. It's a forever thing. It's a forever thing, and I would encourage you. You gotta get that cash flow up, right? So that the XRP thing is not, it's not your last. It's your last hope ever. Right, you got to get the cash flow up in some other areas, so you're not sweating the whole XRP thing. That's a recommendation, And if you have a job, I'm not saying get another job, but certainly get another thing coming in that's bringing in some cash. Get your cash flow up, right? You want to get that cash flow up, so you're not worried about, so you can have some patience with this asset that you hold. And I promise you. I promise you, people want that asset that you hold. They want, if they have some, they want more, and that means they want what you have. That's a great place to be. That's what Bitcoin is running on. Bottom line, Bitcoin and all these Bitcoin holders, they're relying. They understand. If there's one thing the Bitcoin maximalists understand, they understand supply and demand. They get it. They get that whole supply and demand thing, right? They don't get that it's that technology is inferior to XRP, but they get supply and demand, and you got to get it. You got to get that, central banks, governments, Federal Reserve, world banks want that digital asset that you have. There are market makers all over the world right now wanting the asset that you have. There are OTC, right, places, entities, businesses all over the world that wish that they had more of this XRP. There's a reason why there's an XRP index and NASDAQ has it, and a couple other people have it. I just heard of a new recent one that was putting together another XRP index. Right? There's a reason for that. Just like there's a gold index. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. You got to get that. This is the big boy and girl game that we're a part of. You got to know the game. You just have to know that game. And I'm telling you and it's just not in the digital asset space. It's just in life in general. Patience. Man, if you can display patience, if you can play the long game, you are significantly ahead of the masses. If you can play the long game, you're significantly ahead of the masses. I'm telling you, you can play that long game, and you don't have to suffer through it. Just play the long game. Just understand that they want you. Old money wants you to give in to depression and anger and sadness. They want you staring at that price every single day. You think old money stares at the XRP price every single day? Think about that. It is you are complete and 100% controlled, and you got to get once you get that, once you're good with playing the long game, they can't take anything, and that's on anything that you do, whether it be in business or sports or whatever. You can play the long game. You're good, and all you got to do is a few simple things every single day, right? So my mentor said, a few simple disciplines practice every day. That is the definition of success, guys. A few simple disciplines practice every day. That's what we're doing here. right? You got to learn how to discipline your emotions, right? You got to learn how to discipline your emotions, guys. We hold the greatest digital asset ever created. Never ever forget that. Don't forget about the fundamentals. Don't forget about the partnerships. Don't forget that settlement aspect of XRP. Don't forget about Kava Labs and what everything Xspring is doing. What other digital asset out there? Let me ask you this question. Tell me the other digital asset that's out there that has devoted a company called Xspring to come up with other different use cases for their digital asset. Use cases, not hold on to it cases. The greatest challenge in the digital asset space that we have today is a lack of liquidity. Because they got great ideas, got smart people in the space, but they're not showing use cases. They're not showing use cases. XRP is, and is significantly ahead of anything out there. Multiple use cases, companies devoted to the use case of XRP. It's just a matter of time. And you got to understand something too as well. Look, the G20 thing is that's a significant milestone that took place. Top 36 nations in the world came together and set some guidelines. That's a significant milestone in the digital asset space. It's significant. You held your XRP through that. You got to get it. If you held it, you got to get how significant of a milestone you accomplished. If you've been an XRP holder for a year or 2 years, you held through it. Now we've toppled that significant milestone. G20 summit, it happened. Regulations, guidelines are out there for exchanges, for banks, whatever it is that they put together. It's out. It's put together now. I think they got like a year or so, or maybe even 18 months, but I think it's a year to get it in place. You see what I'm saying? The ISO, what is it? The ISO 20022. I think the actual, coming of the, actual implementation of that, I think is November 2021 is a phase or a second phase, and I think November of 2023 is the actual one. If you don't know what that is, do some homework. Right? You got to raise that IQ, guys. That's the key to this whole thing. You've got to know. You've got to get to a point that you know that XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created. You got to know that you are so early in this game. You got into this game before Wall Street. You got to get how significant that is. You got to get how significant that is. You got to get that. You are ahead of the game big time. You got into this before Harvard endowment and Yale's endowment got involved. You were involved. You got to get how massive that is. And stay the course. Just stay the course. Don't focus on the price. Focus on the fundamentals. Focus on the fundamentals. Never forget that. What's going on? You got Mr. Catal's got your back. You got to get that. David Schwartz has got your back. You got to get that. Because he is just flat out said in so many words, he needs the XRP price to get up there. He's got stuff to pay. He's got a lifestyle that he's looking forward to. And trust me, that dude's not going to stop until it happens. And it's going to happen. You just got to be patient. You got to weather. You got to just be patient. You got to raise your IQ so that you know that you hold the greatest digital asset ever created, guys. So anyway, I just wanted to hop on there for I wanted to shoot this quick video so just to help you guys understand what's going on. I heard a couple of people increase the size of their XRP bags today because it's at 38 cents. That's awesome. That is awesome. I know I cashed out on a couple of three to get some more digital assets. know that. Because I know what I hold. I know I hold the greatest digital asset ever created. I know that I know that I know that I know. And when enough of us get to that point, you'd be surprised what happens when two or more are gathered, if you know what I'm saying. We got fundamentals behind us. We not only do we have the creator behind us, if you will, we got the fundamentals behind us. We got the partnerships behind us. You know, nothing can compare, guys. So understand that. Mr. Katau's got your back. Every time I say that, I am good. When I think about that, I am good. Every time I think about that, I'm like, yes, indeed. I hope one day, you know, when I'm traveling to Japan, I get to meet that dude. I'll make it a point. I'll make it a point to meet that dude. So anyway, guys, never ever forget. Listen, old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want me to win. They don't want us to win. Right? They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. This is our chance to win, guys. Never ever forget that. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play, where we allow our money to work for us. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it, guys. I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.